And we're live.
Keep going back to it. I think I was telling you and Chiz the other day about how one of the most pathetic individuals I ever met was a middle school substitute teacher who was always talking about wrestling. And like, we'd be like, okay, man, whatever. He's like, you know what I got? I've got the championship belt. And we were like, really? Yeah. Would you like to see it sometime? And we were like, yeah, we'd love to see you wearing your belt. Really? That's cool, man. He was like a long-term sub. The teacher had cancer or some shit. So he shows up the next day. He's got the fucking belt that he purchased off the fucking internet. One of those big golden WWE buckles. And he's wearing the fucking thing. He's like, check it out. He's so proud. He's like a guy who just bought a new Corvette showing it off. He's like, look at, what do you guys think? We mocked him endlessly. He had it thrown over his chair at the desk and everything. It was so humiliating. This like 35-year-old guy, something like that, chubby, bald, and he's got this belt that he
should have known better.
Like $500 for this belt, maybe more. Like I want to say back then, and this is like 1999, 2000. I think he had spent like $800 on this fucking belt. They're not cheap. They're absurd. It just humiliating. The middle school substitute teacher is one of the most humiliating jobs you could have. That's one of the reasons that Eastbound and Down is so fucking funny, because it's just such a humiliating job.
And dealing with middle school, like that's probably the worst age that you are, is 13 and 14.
Yep. Yeah, fuck that age.
You're old enough to like come up with some smart, mean shit and to recognize an adult who's down in the world, but you're not old enough to have any mercy or to empathize. You're
Look at that high-waisted man. He's got feminine hips. Yeah. That's the thing I'm sensitive about. Yeah.
We had another substitute teacher named Dewey. His name was Dewey. His actual name was Dewey. And he weighed about 400 and I don't know how many pounds, an enormously fat man. And he had a really effeminate Southern voice, and he'd talk about what to get when you go to Wendy's. Oh, I get the triple, but I special ordered. I get them to put the bacon on it. You got to ask, but they'll do it. Get that triple combo with the bacon. And it was like, Jesus Christ, Dewey, I'm starting to understand what your problem is here.
Dewey, come on.
He'd eat those things in class. Like we'd be in class and he'd be back there munching on this burger that was bigger than his fist. Just the greasy fast food bacon hanging out of it. Like, worse.
I had a teacher when I was in high school that, and this isn't even that gross, but it grossed me out for some reason, is every day he would come into class, and I had him late in the day. And so apparently every morning he would come in with a giant extra large Coke from McDonald's. Of course, he was a very fat guy. And by the end of the day, he would still have that cup sitting there, except he would have like filled it with water by then. And so he was just drinking water out of an old McDonald's cup at like 3 p.m. when we were getting off. And it was like, God, dude, like invest in a water bottle. Like it's not hard.
My art teacher in middle school was named Mr. Tiggle, and he was a 400+ pound black man yeah, who drove a Nissan Cube, one of those, like, you know, but in order to drive it, had to move the seat all the way back. So like the C pillar is here and he's looking out the back window of the C pillar. Like it was rough. I don't think he works there anymore, but he was on the wrong side of health.
Stretch that fucking cube out to a rectangle when he gets in it. God damn. What I always like to do when I see fat people walking, there, like I often stay in the car. Like if I'm with somebody, they just got to run to get something. I like watching people. I had this girlfriend. We had this really cruel game where we'd go and just take pictures of like fucked up people, not necessarily fat people or like the mentally indigent or anything, but like a guy with some weird boots who thought they were cool. Like I remember this Mexican guy with these like snakeskin boots with silver toes on them. Like, oh shit, that's a fucking 4-star circus freak right there. Save this one. But I like to watch when fat people come out to their car and they don't have a fat person appropriate car. They got like a Geo Metro or a Chevy Cavalier, like the old school one, not the nice ones they make now. I think they're called a Cobalt or something, whatever the fuck. When they sit down in that car and the car visibly shakes and settles down on the suspension, That cracks me up every fucking time. I can be having the worst day ever, but some like land whale comes out and gets into her Ford Focus, and that thing sits down like you just like
I've
4
had two
men
of
just
these
jumped
cars
in.
so far, the Focus and the Cavalier.
Yeah, and I bet when you sat in them,
That was appropriate.
you're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. The car didn't go. The car didn't go. Ow!
I'm not made for this. Yeah.
Like there's a red light that flashes that's just the outline of an obese man colored in red.
Like the seatbelt thing. But...
Instead of check your oil level, it's like check your cholesterol level. Why are you doing this to
Stop
me?
it.
Your miles per gallon is in calories. Like it's just not good. Oh, I like making fun of fat people. It's just such an easy target because they're so enormous.
Jesus.
Double entendre.
Yeah, come on, it's fun.
Tucker, YouTube's. Oh, I'm sorry. You had more fat people here?
I was gonna go to Chiz next, but I'll just stop.